The perfectionism lie. Why good enough is the secret to finishing everything. Perfectionism is the lie that looks like high standards, but secretly kills momentum. It's procrastination with a halo. You feel principled while you stall. If you keep starting and never shipping, this is why. Today, I'll give you a practical good enough system that finishes work faster without lowering quality. We'll expose the hidden shame mechanism, use 3 levers that neutralize perfectionism in minutes, and I'll show you the secret step that makes shipping painless. This isn't theory, it's a workflow you can use today. Let's dismantle the lie first so the fix actually sticks. The problem: how perfectionism keeps you stuck. Perfectionism feels virtuous because it promises safety. If I get it flawless, no one can judge me. The thing most people miss is that this promise comes with a silent price. You delay action until conditions are impossible to meet. Your brain labels the task as threatening, and suddenly making progress feels dangerous. So you wait, you tweak, you research just a bit more. And the window where you felt motivated quietly closes. This clicked for me when I noticed my best work never started with perfect. It started with movement. The all-or-nothing trap blocks that movement. If it can't be excellent, you tell yourself it shouldn't exist yet. That binary mindset turns a simple first step into a referendum on your identity. Now every micro-choice feels heavy, which creates decision fatigue. You spend energy deciding which font, which tool, which angle, until your brain taps out and defaults to doing nothing. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. The longer you keep decisions open, the heavier they get. A quick choice becomes a mental tab that taxes you all day. Those micro-delays compound. You rewrite the title 3 times, you reorganize a folder, you move tasks to tomorrow. Each tiny pause looks harmless, but together they stall momentum so completely that the project feels stale before it's even alive. Stale projects are easy to abandon because they no longer feel exciting. They feel contaminated by previous false starts. Now here's where most people mess up. They think the fix is lowering standards. It is. You need to change the way done is defined in the first hour. When done means perfect, your nervous system stays on high alert. When done means fit for purpose for this stage, your brain can finally start. The reason this works is simple. Your threat system calms when the stakes are sized correctly. Your work quality doesn't drop, your starting cost does. Let me show you the real trap under the surface: future self-bargaining. You delay, promising that a more rested, inspired version of you will crush it later. That sounds reasonable, but it trains your brain to pair action with delay. You accidentally reward an action with the relief of not starting. So next time, your brain pushes for the same relief. You've built a loop. Task appears, anxiety spikes, you postpone, anxiety drops, loop strengthens. The task didn't get harder, the relief got more rewarding. Another hidden piece is identity risk. If it's not perfect, it says something about me. That belief turns feedback into a threat, so you keep things private. Private drafts feel safe, but safety without feedback means the goalposts move forever. You can't win a game that never ends. Your effort increases, but your finish rate doesn't. That gap creates quiet shame, which your brain tries to avoid by raising the standard again. Now the bar is higher and the fear is bigger. Before we continue, you need to understand the cost of endless prep. Overplanning feels like progress, but it creates distance from action. The more detailed your plan, the more painful it feels to deviate, so you cling to the plan even when reality changes. That rigidity slows you down and makes course correcting feel like failure instead of just, adjusting. If you remember nothing else, remember this: planning should reduce friction to start, not add rules you're scared to break. Once you nail this, everything else clicks. Progress creates clarity, not the other way around. Action gives you data, what works, what doesn't, where the real constraints are. Waiting for clarity before acting keeps you stuck in abstract problems that only action can solve. A common mistake I see is trying to solve quality questions at the idea stage. You can't critique a thing you haven't built. Build a small version, then improve it. Now the practical piece. Micro-delays are where perfectionism lives. If you can shave those, you win. Use constraints that limit decision time up front, like pick any decent option in 60 seconds. Not the best option, a decent one. The reason this works is that most early choices are reversible. You can change fonts, headlines, slide orders later, but you can't edit a blank page. Shipping later doesn't require earlier perfection, it requires earlier material. Don't do what I did the first time. I tried to brute force willpower. I told myself, just try harder. That only deepened the fatigue and made me feel broken when I slipped. Effort without a system makes shame louder. Shame makes avoidance easier. Avoidance makes the project heavier. Heavier projects need more motivation. And round you go. The game changer nobody talks about is redefining quality by stage. Early quality is about clarity and completeness, not polish. Mid-stage quality is about coherence and alignment. Late-stage quality is finish and finesse. When you confuse those, you'll try to polish before you've clarified, which is like decorating a house you haven't built. It looks busy. It doesn't move you forward. So no, the fix isn't lower standards. It's standards with sequencing. First, get something that works. Then, make it better. Then, make it beautiful. Now we can make the fix stick. Why your current approach fails, shame loop. So you try harder. You double the prep, promise longer hours, add more steps. It feels responsible, but here's the thing most people miss. Effort without changed rules feeds shame. The more you push inside the same frame, the more evidence you collect that you're still not enough. That's the shame performance spiral. Shame spikes, motivation dips, so you plan more to feel safe, which creates more distance from action, which fuels more shame. It's a loop, not a lack of grit. Let me show you exactly how it traps you. You miss a self-imposed deadline. Instead of asking, was the scope realistic? You ask, what's wrong with me? That's a shift from behavior to identity. Guilt says, I did something I don't like. Shame says, I am something I don't like. Guilt invites learning. Shame triggers avoidance. When avoidance shows up, procrastination feels soothing. Your amygdala reads, don't start, as relief, and relief is a powerful teacher. Now here's where most people mess up. They respond to shame with overplanning. You create a 12-tab spreadsheet to dodge the feeling of being judged. The plan looks impressive, but every added layer pushes you further from the work. Overplanning isn't neutral, it raises the price of deviation. When reality doesn't match the blueprint, you stall because changing the plan feels like failure. Meanwhile, zero work has shipped. Feedback fear makes it worse. The longer something stays private, the more it mutates into a forever project. Drafts become sacred objects you're scared to expose. You tell yourself you're protecting quality, but you're actually avoiding data. Without feedback, your brain fills the vacuum with imagined criticism, and imagined criticism is limitless. The result? You polish the same paragraph for days, while the core argument never gets tested. Then comes the finish line sprint. You delay, and when the deadline finally terrifies you into motion, you pull an all-nighter. It works once, so your brain pairs panic with performance. That's an expensive association. Each project now needs cortisol to start. You're training a system that burns you out and narrows your creative range. Even if you deliver, the cost shows up later as dread. Dread kills future starts. Let's talk hidden costs because they don't show on your to-do list. While you perfect one thing, opportunities pass. A competitor ships a draftier version and earns the learning you postponed. Your reputation stagnates, not because you lack talent, but because people can't see work you never ship. The market rewards visible value, not invisible effort. That gap breeds more shame, and shame sells you the same bad solution. Try harder at the wrong thing. Before we continue, you need to understand why try harder keeps failing. Your nervous system is optimizing for safety, not output. When perfect equals safe, starting feels dangerous. More effort escalates the perceived threat. So you build armor, rules, research, contingency plans. That armor is heavy. Heavy armor is slow. Slow feels scary. Scary triggers more armor. See the loop. The thing most people miss is the timing. Shame is loudest at the beginning, quietest in motion. But your current approach tries to silence shame before you move. That's backwards. You don't think your way into courage, you act your way into proof. Tiny proof softens shame because it gives your brain evidence. I can handle this. Overplanning gives your brain nothing to update. Okay, so what breaks the loop? Not pep talks, not harsher deadlines. You need a different frame that makes early action feel safe enough to start. That means redefining quality by stage and shrinking the decision surface so you can gather feedback without identity risk. It's the difference between is this perfect and does this work for this purpose right now? A quick micro story. Last week, a client had a white paper stuck for 3 months. She kept researching stakeholders to avoid shipping a messy draft. We set a 40-minute time box and a single target, 3 ugly bullet points per section, no citations. She emailed that draft to one colleague. Feedback came back the same day with 2 useful holes to fill. The next morning, she wrote with energy she hadn't felt in weeks. The shift: she stopped trying to earn safety with polish and earned it with data. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this: shame thrives in silence and vagueness. Clear, small actions with quick feedback starve it. Over-planning is silence. Private polishing is silence. Forever projects are silence. You don't need more effort. You need structure that forces motion before your threat system hijacks the day. So if effort isn't the answer, what is? A different frame. We'll use the good enough principle to right-size risk, unlock momentum, and protect quality without feeding the loop you're stuck in. The good enough principle, the frame shift. Good enough isn't sloppy, it's fit for purpose. Think of it like this: every task has a job to do at each stage. Early on, the job is to clarify direction and surface unknowns. Mid-stage, the job is to make it coherent and aligned. Late stage, the job is to polish. Good enough means meeting the job of the current stage, nothing more, nothing less. When you match quality to purpose, you lower threat without lowering standards. Most people confuse ideal outcome with minimum viable outcome. The ideal is your North Star. The minimum viable outcome is the next navigational step. You need both. The mistake is trying to build the North Star into step one. Minimum viable outcome answers: what's the smallest version that proves this works? It's not junk, it's proof. Once proof exists, improving it is 10x easier because you're iterating, not inventing under pressure. Here, where the 80-20 rule helps. Roughly 80% of the value comes from 20% of the decisions. Early, hunt those vital few. The insight, the core structure, the one concept that makes the rest obvious. If you spend your best hours on the marginal 80%, the kerning, the micro-wording, the shading, you'll feel busy and end up stuck. Prioritize the 20% that unlocks everything else, then let the remaining 80% rise with iteration. Ship small, ship often isn't an apology, it's a status move. Pros don't hoard drafts, they run cycles. Frequent shipping gives you 3 advantages: fast feedback, risk spread across iterations, and compounding learning. Each small release converts unknowns into knowns. That changes your brain state from threat to curiosity. The reason this works is that progress, not perfection, regulates your nervous system. Output calms the amygdala better than overthinking. Now you might be thinking, won't good enough hurt my reputation? The thing most people miss is that visible usefulness builds reputation faster than invisible polish. When you ship an internal draft that's clear and honest about its state, you invite collaboration and accelerate improvement. When you wait for perfect, you defer trust building. Transparency plus iteration reads as competence. Let me show you exactly how good enough turns into great. First pass, get it working. That means the core argument, the skeleton storyboard, the functional prototype. Second pass, make it coherent, clean up logic, remove contradictions, tighten flow. Third pass, make it crisp, clarity of language, visual alignment, pacing. Fourth pass if needed, make it beautiful, tone, finesse, micro details. Greatness arrives because each pass has a single job. You're stacking quality in sequence, not trying to solve everything at once. A quick micro story. A team I coached kept skipping client demos because it needs one more feature. We reframed to fit-for-purpose demo, show the core loop, narrate the gaps. First demo surfaced one killer request that invalidated 2 weeks of planned polish. They cut scope, shipped sooner, and won the renewal. The difference wasn't talent, it was declaring good enough for demo instead of nearly perfect for launch. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches: predefine your quality bands. For example, internal B means clear enough to discuss, ugly is allowed. External B+ means solid, coherent, minor rough edges. Final A means polished enough to represent you publicly. By labeling bands up front, you decouple identity from drafts. You know what good enough means for this moment, so you stop arguing with yourself mid-task. What about errors? Fit for purpose reduces risk because it shrinks blast radius. You're not releasing a final press release, you're sharing a B outline to one reviewer. You've right-sized the stakes. That lets you gather data early when changes are cheap. Later, when stakes are higher, you raise standards deliberately. Standards aren't lower, they're scheduled. This clicked for me when I realized that perfect was just unshipped plus anxiety. Good enough was shipped plus iteration. If you remember nothing else, remember this: the only thing perfect and great share is iteration. Great just has more passes. So practically, how do you operate this frame in the moment? Ask 3 questions before you start. What's the minimum viable outcome for this stage? Which 20% matters most right now? What quality band am I targeting? Then start. When you feel the urge to polish, check if the current pass's job is polish. If not, park it. You'll get to it on the pass that owns it. Once you work this way, relief replaces dread. You move, you learn, you refine. Good enough isn't settling, it's sequencing. And once you sequence standards to purpose, you finally get to finish and then make it great. The 3 levers that neutralize perfectionism. Before we build the system, you need the 3 levers that make it work: scope, standards, and stakes. Pull these in the right order, and perfectionism loses oxygen fast. Start with scope. The thing most people miss is that done expands silently while you work. If you don't shrink what done means today, your brain tries to finish the whole mountain. Scope is simply deciding the smallest slice that moves the project forward, not the perfect slice, the definitive next increment. Ask, what's the minimum that proves progress? 1 slide that nails the message. 1 figure that shows the trend. 1 page that frames the argument. When scope is tiny, your nervous system sees a finish line, not an abyss. Why this matters? Large scope multiplies decisions and triggers decision fatigue. Small scope compresses choices into a narrow lane, which lowers friction to start. Practically, write a 1-line scope statement for today, draft 3 bullet points for the intro, or record a 60-second voice memo of the thesis. If you can't say it in 1 line, it's not scoped. Cut it in half until you can. Once you have scope, set standards. Not aspirational standards, acceptable quality bands for this pass. Remember our quality-based age idea? Standards are how you lock it in. Define the band in clear, permissive language. Internal B, clear enough to discuss ugly aloud. External B+, coherent, minor roughness okay. Final A, polished and audience ready. The reason this works is it replaces the vague, make it good with a usable target. Your brain stops negotiating because the rules are pre-written. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Pre-write 2 acceptable imperfections you'll allow at this stage. For example, typos allowed, examples rough. Or placeholder charts, final colors later. When you name allowed flaws, you turn them from threats into planned features. That labeling blunts the perfectionist impulse before it hijacks your attention. Now stakes. Perfectionism inflates perceived risk at the worst time, the beginning. Your job is to lower stakes to start, then raise them later for polish. Early stage. Share internally with 1 reviewer, not a committee. Tag it clearly. Early draft, seeking clarity only. Later stage. Widen the audience and raise the quality band. This sequencing keeps your amygdala calm when you need momentum and recruits accountability when it helps. A quick example to connect all 3, you need a proposal. Scope. Outline with 3 sections and 1 sentence per section. Standards. Internal B, incomplete citations allowed. Stakes. Send to 1 teammate by 3 p.m. for structural feedback only. That combo moves you into action, gets you data, and avoids the identity hit of a full public release too soon. Now here S where most people mess up. They pull just 1 lever and wonder why they stall. Small scope with high standards still freezes you. Low stakes with vague scope leads to wandering. Clear standards with huge scope is still a cliff. The levers work because they interact. Small scope plus permissive standards plus low stakes equals movement. After movement, you can safely ratchet standards and stakes up in later passes. Use the S3 check as a quick heuristic before any task: scope, standards, stakes. Say them out loud in under 30 seconds. If you can't, the task is too fuzzy, tighten scope. Loosen standards, lower stakes, then start. And because your brain loves rituals, make S3 your pre-flight. Same words, same rhythm every time. The consistency trains your nervous system to expect motion, not negotiation. Let me give you a micro story. A designer I coached kept refining concepts for days. We ran S3. Scope, 3 thumbnail sketches only. Standards, B sketches, uneven typography allowed. Stakes, share in Slack to 1 product lead by noon. 90 minutes later, she had 3 clear directions and 1 got greenlit. The difference wasn't talent, it was yanking all 3 levers at once. One caution, don't confuse low stakes with no accountability. Low stakes means safe audience and narrow criteria, not secrecy forever. Put a shipping trigger on the stakes lever. Send by time, upload draft, book review. The trigger flips intention into action. Without it, perfectionism sneaks back through, I'll share when it's better. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this: perfectionism thrives on undefined today. S3 defines today. Shrink the scope, name the standards, right-size the stakes. Once you do, starting feels sane, finishing feels possible, and iteration finally has room to work. Next, we'll build your good enough system around these levers so you can run this automatically. The good enough system, step by step. Let's turn S3 into a workflow you can run today. 5 steps. Fast, simple, repeatable. Step 1, define today's minimum commits, your MC1. This is the smallest measurable output that proves movement. Write it like a shipping line, not a wish. Outline with 5 bullets. Record a 90-second audio draft. 3 sketches. Make it binary, either it exists or it doesn't. Why this works: your brain locks onto concrete finish lines. Vague intentions invite negotiation. MC1 ends the debate before it starts. To set a clean MC1, combine it with S3 in a sentence. Today I'll produce X scope at quality band Y standards and share with Z by time T stakes. You're defining done, acceptable, and shipped in one breath. If it doesn't fit in one sentence, it's too big. Cut it until it fits. Step 2, pre-write acceptable imperfections. List 2 to 4 flaws you'll allow in this pass. Typos allowed. Placeholder examples. Rough numbers. Uneven spacing. The thing most people miss is that imperfection denial is what pulls you back into polishing. When you name flaws in advance, they stop being alarms. They're features of the current pass. Put them right under your MC1 so you see them while you work. Here's a quick script you can steal. Good enough for this pass means clear, not pretty. Allowed, list. Not allowed, 1 or 2 fatal errors. Keep the not allowed list tiny. Think factual inaccuracies or missing core steps. Everything else can wait. Step 3, time box with a no extend rule. Pick a block that matches the task's cognitive load, 25, 45, or 60 minutes. Set a visible timer. Say out loud, this block does not extend. Why the no extend rule matters: perfectionism feeds on just 5 more minutes. Time creep silently converts scope creep into reality. Limit the box and you force choices. Constraints unlock focus because they kill endless branching. During the time box, run one lane only. If you're drafting, you're not editing. If you're exploring, you're not formatting. If a fix pops up, drop it in your parking lot, just a running note you'll hit later. Then snap back to the lane. Every detour is a tax. The timer protects you from paying it. Step 4, finish then polish cadence. 2-pass workflow every time. Pass 1 is production. Get the MC1 across the line in the box. Stop at the buzzer. Stand up, shake it out, and score it, shipped or not. Pass 2 is polish. Raise the quality band 1 notch, not 5. You're not making it perfect, you're making it coherent. Fix clarity, fix logic, fix the one thing that will most improve usefulness. Stop at the second buzzer. The reason this cadence works is that mixed mode working splits attention. When you try to produce and polish at once, you neither move fast nor think clearly. Separating modes doubles throughput because your brain can commit to one job at a time. Step 5, the 10% rule for upgrades. On any polish pass, limit yourself to one improvement that increases quality by roughly 10%. That might be tightening the thesis, aligning headers, or adding one example. 1. If you find 5 things, park 4. Why this matters: the fastest way to stall is to open 10 improvement threads at once. You end up with half-finished upgrades and no visible progress. One improvement gives you compounding returns without reopening the entire problem. Now let me thread these steps together in a quick run. You start with S3 and write MC1. Draft problem statement with 5 bullets. Internal B, share with Jenna by 3 p.m. acceptable imperfections. Typos allowed, placeholder data, messy phrasing. Time box, 45 minutes, no extend. Pass 1, you write the 5 bullets, dump 3 rough stats, and resist formatting. Buzzer, you ship the draft to Jenna with a single question. Does this capture the right problems? Pass 2, 25 minutes, 10% upgrade, tighten the opening line and fix obvious contradictions. Done. That's a complete cycle in 70 minutes. A few practical guardrails keep the system clean. Always attach a shipping trigger to MC1, send, upload, schedule, or log. No finish later. If you miss a time box, you still ship what's done to the designated safe audience with the state label. Early draft clarity check. This protects momentum and trains you to respect the clock. Use visible artifacts to anchor the habit. I keep a simple template at the top of every doc. MC1, quality band, acceptable imperfections, time box start end, shipping trigger. Copy, paste, fill in 30 seconds. It's your cockpit checklist. Ritual lowers activation cost. Now here S where most people mess up this system. They overspec MC1 into perfection dressed as progress. Write complete report, not an MC1, or they skip acceptable imperfections, which invites polishing mid-pass. Or they extend the timer just a bit, which collapses the constraint. Or they ignore the 10% rule and open 5 tabs of tweaks. If you catch yourself doing any of those, pause and reset. Shrink MC1, add imperfections, restart a shorter time box, pick one upgrade. One last piece makes shipping painless, default labels. Add a prefix to every early file or email, draft v3 clarity only. You're telling people how to judge it. That single line lowers perceived stakes and invites the right feedback. Pair it with a specific question, what's missing? Or which section is unclear? Targeted questions protect your confidence and get you better signal. Run this for 3 days and you'll feel the shift. Work gets lighter because decisions are pre-decided. Starts are faster because the scope is tiny. Finishes happen because shipping is part of the step, not a separate event. And each pass builds quality in sequence, so good enough quietly becomes great without the drama. Implementation example 1, writing a report. Let's run the system on a real task, a report you've been avoiding. We'll keep it simple and shippable. Start with MC1. Today's target is tiny, outline, a rough intro, and 1 body section. Write it as a single line so your brain sees the finish line. MC1, outline with 5 bullets, a messy 3-4 sentence intro, and 1 body section with rough facts. Now set standards with a quality band. Internal B, clear enough to discuss, ugly aloud. This tells you exactly what good enough means, understandable, not polished. Then name your acceptable imperfections right under MC1 so you don't debate them mid-pass. Typos allowed, placeholders for citations, inconsistent tense, missing transitions. We need stakes. Keep them low but real. Ship to 1 reviewer by end of day with 1 question. Is the structure right? That shipping trigger matters. Without it, you'll tweak forever. Time box, 45 minutes, no extend. That's your production lane. During this block, use cursor discipline, no scrolling up to edit. If you think of a better phrase or missing stat, park it in a quick parking lot note at the top of the doc. You'll hit it later. Pass 1 production. First 5 minutes, skeleton outline. Use blunt bullets, not prose, for example. Problem, our churn rose 12% in Q2. Why it matters, lost revenue, sales morale, support load. Causes, onboarding gaps, slow response, misaligned expectations. Evidence, support tickets, NPS dips, cohort analysis. Next steps, fix onboarding flow, SLA tweaks, expectation reset. Don't search for perfect headings. Get the bones down. Next, draft the rough intro. 3 to 4 sentences that state problem, stakes, promise. It can be ugly. We lost more customers in Q2 than any quarter last year. Early signals point to onboarding friction and slower response times. This draft outlines what's happening, why it matters, and what we'll test next. Done. Now write 1 body section. Pick the section that unlocks the rest. Usually that's the problem definition or causes. Drop in rough facts, not final citations. Churn rose from 3.2% to 3.6% co-Q. New user NPS fell from 42 to 31. Top 3 complaint categories: login confusion, delayed replies, unclear plan limits. If a number's fuzzy, mark it with TK so you don't stall. Keep your sentences serviceable, not pretty. Timer buzzes? Stop. Stand up for a minute. Score MC1, outline intro 1 section. If yes, ship the draft to your single reviewer with the state label and 1 question. Draft V3, clarity check only. Does the structure reflect the real issues? Then schedule Pass 2 for later the same day. Pass 2 polish. New 25-minute time box. Raise quality 1 notch, not 5. Apply the 10% rule. Pick 1 upgrade. For a report, the highest return is usually clarity of the thesis and the logic flow. Tighten the opening line so the point lands fast. Q2 churn rose 12% because onboarding breaks and slow responses push new users to quit early. remove contradictions, add a subhead or two for scannability, and fix only clarity issues in the drafted body section. If you see a dangling statistic hole, replace one TK with a quick check from your go-to source. Park the rest. Don't open new sections in Pass 2. That's how scope creeps. Your goal is to make what exists coherent enough that your reviewer can give useful feedback. Finish at the buzzer. Send a quick note to the same reviewer. Second pass tightened thesis and flow in Section 1. Same question, is the structure right? If you haven't heard back yet, you've still honored your shipping trigger. Common mistakes to avoid in this workflow: writing the whole report as MC1, that's a guarantee you'll stall. Skipping acceptable imperfections. Without them, you'll edit while drafting. Extending the timer just 5 minutes. That unravels the constraint that protects your focus. Asking for broad feedback. One question beats 10 vague ones. Try what's missing, or which section feels unnecessary. A quick micro story. A client's quarterly update kept slipping. We set MC1 exactly like this. Outline, rough intro, one body section. Internal B, typos allowed, citations TK. 45 minutes later, she shipped to one stakeholder with the single question, "Does this tell the right story?" The reply came back in an hour with one structural tweak that killed an entire dead-end section. She saved days by not perfecting what didn't belong. Finally, close the loop with a tiny checklist at the top of your doc. MC1 written, quality band labeled, imperfections listed, time box set, shipping trigger defined, check each quickly. Then run the cycle. Repeat tomorrow for the next body section, same rules. In 2 to 3 cycles, you'll have a full draft built from clean, shippable parts, no panic sprint required. Implementation example 2, creative design project. Same rules, different canvas. Let's run the system on a design brief where perfectionism loves to hide. Thumbnails for a new landing page hero. Start with MC1. Your target is not final art. It's 3 thumbnail concepts, nothing more. Write it as a single line. MC1, 3 thumbnail concepts exploring layout and hierarchy. Thumbnails are tiny on purpose. They compress decisions and force clarity. You're proving ideas, not nailing pixels. Set standards with a quality band. Internal B, clear enough to discuss, ugly aloud. Now pre-write acceptable imperfections, uneven lighting in references, rough typography, placeholder images, mismatched colors, sloppy spacing. Add one not allowed guardrail. The core idea must be legible. If someone can't tell where the eye goes first, it's not a thumbnail, it's noise. Stakes, low but real. Ship 3 thumbnails to one product, lead by 12, 30 with a single question. Which concept best matches the brief's priority? Clarity, credibility, or conversion? That question forces targeted feedback and protects you from vague, make it pop. Timebox the exploration, 30 minutes. No extend, set a visible timer. This is a hunt for structure, not perfection. Grab a pen or open your tool, but keep it bare bones. I like a simple grayscale with 3 shades: background, primary, accent. That constraint keeps you from polishing color when you should be placing blocks. Pass 1, explore. Think in frames, not features. In the first 5 minutes, write a quick design thesis for each concept so you don't drift. Concept A, hero as clarity, big headline, 1-line value prop, 1 CTA. Concept B, hero as credibility, logo garden, testimonial pull quote supporting stat. Concept C, hero as conversion, benefit bullets, primary CTA, secondary soft CTA. Now sketch fast. Use boxes and lines. Place the headline supporting copy, primary CTA. Drop a box for the visual or illustration. Vary the hierarchy decisively. In Concept A, let the headline dominate 60% of the hero. In Concept B, push the testimonial near the top with a face or logo cluster. In Concept C, elevate the bullet stack and put the CTA above the fold twice. Keep type rough, just scribble H1, body, CTA. If you're digital, use a single sans serif and 1 weight change to signal hierarchy. Resist kerning, resizing to perfection, or color tweaks. If an idea pops for later, dump it into the parking lot. Try split screen add microproof under CTA/explore icon bullets. Timer buzzes? Stop. You've got 3 distinct directions. Ship them. Yes, in this state. Label the state clearly. Draft V1 thumbnails, clarity check only. Paste 1 sentence under each concept that explains the intent in plain language. Send to your product lead with the one question you wrote. Then schedule Pass 2, 15 minutes to cull and refine. Pass 2, refine one element. Pick the strongest concept based on feedback, or if feedback hasn't landed yet, pick the one that maps best to the brief's priority. Apply the 10% rule, one improvement that increases utility. Options: tighten typographic scale so the headline is truly dominant, fix spacing rhythm to establish a clean baseline grid, or refine the CTA treatment so it's unmistakable. One improvement, not 3. Set a 15-minute timer and make only that change. If you must choose, fix hierarchy first. Clarity beats cosmetics. A quick micro story. A team I worked with kept noodling with hero illustrations for days. We flipped to thumbnails with a B band and acceptable imperfections listed. In 30 minutes, they had 3 layouts. The product lead chose the credibility concept and asked for a single stat above the fold. They refined just hierarchy on Pass 2. By afternoon, Dev had a working skeleton. The illustration? It came later, slotted into a structure that already converted. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Treating thumbnails like mini-comps. If you're picking typefaces or hex codes, you've slipped. Return to boxes and grayscale. Asking for broad feedback. Don't ask, "What do you think?" Ask, "Which concept best supports X?" One question, one decision. Extending the exploration block. 5 more minutes turns into polishing. Keep the 30-15 rhythm sacred. Shipping to a crowd. Early stakes are one reviewer. Committees multiply noise. Want a quick visual checklist before you ship? 3 frames, 3 distinct hierarchies. Headline, supporting copy, CTA in each. 1 sentence intent under each. State label plus single feedback question. If yes, ship. If not, trim, don't add. Finally, remember the purpose of this stage. Pick the right hill to climb. Thumbnails answer, where does the eye go? What message lands first? What path do we want? Once that's true, polish becomes easy. When you try to polish your way into clarity, you burn hours and still end up guessing. 3 rough frames, 1 smart refinement, then onward. That's how good enough turns creative work into shippable progress without killing your taste. High-stakes work without the panic. Let's tackle the scary stuff. The presentations, launches, audits, client deliverables, where errors feel expensive. The goal isn't bravery, it's better engineering. We're going to split stakes, create a sandbox, right-size fear, label quality bands, and use decision gates so you can move without gambling your reputation. First, break the stakes apart. Most high-stakes projects bundle 3 different risks: internal accuracy, peer perception, and public impact. When you lump them together, your amygdala lights up and you freeze. Unbundle them into stages. Stage 1 is an internal draft, accuracy only. Stage 2 is limited circulation, clarity and coherence. Stage 3 is external, polish and finish. Each stage has a different job and a different audience. You're not performing for everyone at once. Now create a sandbox first. A sandbox is a safe environment where errors are cheap. A private doc, a duplicate deck, a staging site, a rehearsal room with one trusted reviewer. Label it clearly, sandbox learning only. That label does 2 things. It lowers perceived risk so you start, and it signals to your reviewer what kind of feedback to give. Pair it with a narrow brief. We're testing message order, not visuals, or we're validating assumptions, not grammar. Before you begin, run a quick pre-mortem to right-size the fear. Ask, what's the realistic worst case for this stage, and how would we recover? Keep it concrete. If the estimate is off by 5%, we'll add a sensitivity table. If the demo glitches, we'll have a recorded backup. Naming recovery moves teaches your brain, we have handles. Fear drops when options are visible. You're not promising perfection, you're proving preparedness. Next, use quality bands for each stage so you're not holding a final standard at the start. Internal B for stage 1, clear enough to discuss, ugly allowed, placeholders fine. External B+ for stage 2, coherent, consistent, minor roughness okay. Final A for stage 3, polished, audience-ready, no obvious flaws. Write the band at the top of the file. If you feel the urge to perfect mid-stage 1, point to the band and return to the job. Standards aren't lower, they're sequenced. Now let's add decision gates, explicit criteria to move forward without overthinking. Gate 1, internal draft moves to limited circulation when the core logic is sound and key assumptions are labeled. Gate 2, limited circulation moves external when one domain expert signs off on accuracy and one stakeholder signs off on clarity. Gate 3, final release when a short checklist passes, typos swept, numbers cross-checked, names titles correct, and the CTA is unmistakable. Gates beat vibes. You advance because conditions are met, not because you feel ready. Here's how it comes together on, say, a board presentation. Stage 1 sandbox. Outline the narrative arc, problem, evidence, options, recommendation. MC1 is a 5-slide skeleton with rough numbers and TK where data is pending. Quality band, internal B. Acceptable imperfections, typos, generic charts missing footnotes. Time box, 60 minutes. Ship to one trusted peer with a single question, does the logic land? Decision gate 1. If peer confirms logic and flags no fatal gaps, proceed. Stage 2 limited circulation, raise to external B+. Replace TKs with actual figures, remove contradictions, standardize visuals. Acceptable imperfections, minor formatting quirks. Ship to the CFO and COO only, labeled V7 accuracy clarity check. Ask 2 targeted questions. Any material risk I'm missing? And is the recommendation unambiguous? Decision gate 2. If both confirm accuracy and clarity, schedule rehearsal. Stage 3 final A, polish. Run a 25-minute pass for typos, a 25-minute pass for numbers labels, and a 10-minute pass for pacing. Add a backup plan slide for the predictable objection. Decision gate 3. Pass the final checklist. Record a 60-second executive summary you can deliver cold, then ship. What about live demos or launches where failure feels public? Same pattern. Sandbox a full dry run in staging, record it, and watch at 1.5x speed to catch flow issues. Premortem the 3 most likely failures and prep simple mitigations. A static screenshot for a live API, a fallback CTA if pricing questions derail, a printed handout if tech fails. Share the mitigation plan with your team so everyone's aligned. Confidence rises when contingencies are shared. A quick micro story. A team had a high-stakes client renewal demo and kept delaying for one more feature. We cut to a sandbox demo of the core workflow, labeled B, and rehearsed with one stakeholder who only judged narrative coherence. Gate 1 cleared. We raised to B+, replaced mock data, and added a risk slide. Gate 2 cleared. Final A pass focused on pacing and objection handling. They won the renewal, not because the product was perfect, but because the narrative, contingencies, and sequencing were. One last piece, communicate state. Every share gets a label and a specific ask. Sandbox V3, logic check only. V7, accuracy and clarity. Final typo sweep. The label protects your reputation and guides feedback. And if your brain spikes mid-task, remember, you're not shipping the press release to the world, you're shipping the next gate to the right person. That's how high-stakes work becomes sane, predictable, and shippable without the panic. Real-time anti-perfectionism tactics. Okay, how do you kill the urge to perfect mid-task? You need tools you can use in the moment, while your cursor is blinking and your brain is trying to negotiate. 5 tactics. Use them like interrupts. First, the parking lot file. The thing most people miss is that perfectionism isn't just fear, it's leakage. Ideas, fixes, and oh wait thoughts bleed into your focus and drag you sideways. The parking lot is a simple running note top of doc or a side notepad where every impulse goes without debate. Label it parking lot later. When a thought hits, better title, add case study, swap chart, dump it there in 5 words or less and snap back. Why this works? Your brain relaxes when it trusts you won't lose the idea. You've kept the value without paying the switching cost. Second, cursor discipline. Never scroll up during drafting. That's the rule. If you scroll up, you'll edit, and if you edit, you'll stall. Draft forward only. If you need a quick anchor, add a horizontal rule or to mark the end of what you've locked and keep writing below it. Editing is a different pass. Production mode and polish mode don't mix. Once you nail this, everything else clicks because you protect the lane you're in. Third, start with 3 ugly sentences. Perfectionism hates visible imperfection, so you force it to watch. Type 3 deliberately ugly, blunt sentences that say the point, even if they sound clunky. Here S what this is. Here S why it matters. Here S what comes next. Don't aim for clever, aim for honest. This does 2 things. It gets you past the blank page, and it sets the spine of your section so you can drape better language later. Most people don't start because they're trying to start fancy. Start messy, then refine. Fourth, the 20-20-20 reset. If you feel the pull to polish mid-pass, or you notice you're staring, stop. Stand for 20 seconds, breathe deep for 20, and reread your MC1 and acceptable imperfections for 20. Say out loud, I'm in pass 1, clarity over polish. Then sit and continue. It sounds simple because it is. You're interrupting the stress loop with a tiny physical reset and a rules reminder. The reason this works is that your threat system calms when the next action is concrete and small. Fifth, interrupt scripts, phrases that shut down rumination. Pick 1 or 2 and keep them visible. Not this pass. Park it, proceed. 1 job right now. Clarity first, pretty later. Finish the skeleton. Say them out loud. Verbalizing cuts through mental noise and returns you to the lane. You don't need perfect self-talk, you need consistent self-interrupts. Now let me layer these into your time box. Minute 1, write your MC1 at the top along with your quality band and imperfections. Add a tiny parking lot under that. Read it once. Then start drafting forward. Every time your brain suggests a fix, park it with 2 or 3 words and keep going. If you catch your finger reaching for the scroll, pause and say, not this pass. If your writing stalls, dump 3 ugly sentences and continue from the 3rd. If agitation rises, run 20-20-20 and recommit to the pass. Here's a quick micro story. A client writing a funding memo kept stopping to polish the opening paragraph. We added a bold line after the first 2 sentences, locked, do not edit. Then we used 3 ugly sentences to outline the rest. Every time she wanted to wordsmith, she typed park, trim opener later into the parking lot and returned to the section. 20 minutes later, she had a complete ugly draft. The next pass took 10 minutes to type. The difference wasn't talent, it was staying in the lane. Common mistakes to watch for: turning the parking lot into a second to-do list with long, detailed notes. Keep entries short so they don't become new tasks. Using 3 ugly sentences as an excuse to write 3 perfect ones. If they're too polished, you're back in perfectionism. Running 20-20-20 and then extending the block just a bit. Honor the clock. End, ship, or schedule the next pass. Changing lanes mid-pass because feedback pings you. Silence notifications during production. Review feedback only in polish mode. One last advanced move: set a 2-word lane cue in your window title or sticky note, draft mode or Polish mode. When you switch passes, change the cue. It's a tiny ritual that trains your brain to expect different rules. Pair it with your interrupt script, and perfectionism has nowhere to hook. You're not resisting forever, you're redirecting for the next 25 minutes. That's all you need. Then the system carries you. Failure proofing, reset protocols and safeguards. You will slip. That's not a character flaw, it's physics. So let's make failure boring and recovery automatic. 5 safeguards: short, clear, non-negotiable. If stuck over 5 minutes, cut scope by 50% immediately. No debate, no diagnosis. If you're staring, looping, or rewriting the same line, you've crossed the 5-minute line. Say out loud, half it. 1 page becomes half a page. 3 bullets become 1.5. Sounds silly, it works. You shrink decisions, restore motion, and get a quick win your brain can trust. You can always re-expand later, but you can't upgrade what doesn't exist. If you go over your time box, ship what's done and schedule polish. Perfectionism loves extensions, the no-extend rule blocks it. But when you miss, you still ship to the safe audience with a state label and a single ask. Then you create a calendar event for a polish pass, 15 or 25 minutes tomorrow morning if possible. The scheduling matters. It tells your brain, we're not abandoning this, we're sequencing it. Shipping plus a scheduled polish is how you protect momentum without pretending it's finished. Red team, pre-pick 1 friend or colleague who approves good enough. Give them your quality bands and your shipping triggers up front. Their job isn't to critique, it's to approve movement and guard against scope creep. You send them your MC1 output with a label and a checkbox. They reply green or yellow. Green means move. Yellow means reduce scope once and resend. No red unless there's a factual risk. The point isn't to outsource courage. It's to borrow perspective when your self-judgment gets loud. Post-mortem, single line. After every ship cycle, write 1 sentence: what helped? Or what tripped me? Then add 1 tweak to your system. Keep it microscopic. Move parking lot to the top. Use 25 instead of 45 for drafting. Add typos allowed to imperfections. That's it. You're iterating your process, not rewriting your life. The compounding effect of tiny tweaks beats the fantasy of the perfect workflow you never run. Habit loop: reward the act of shipping, not the praise. Praise is outside your control and arrives late. Rewards can be immediate and small. After you hit a shipping trigger, do a 2-minute ritual. Stretch, sip good tea, check off a shipped box, play a 10-second sound. It sounds minor, it's neuroscience. You're pairing the completion cue with a pleasant hit so your brain craves the behavior. Over time, ship feels good in your body, and that beats white-knuckling through dread. Now, how do you know when to trigger which safeguard? Keep a tiny rescue card next to you. Stuck 5 minutes, half scope, restart timer. Overtime box, ship current state, schedule polish. Overhauling mid-pass, say not this pass, park it. Ruminating, run 2020, recommit to MC1. Doubting quality, ping red team with label and ask. Let me give you a quick micro story. A founder I coach was revising investor slides and spiraled on slide 2 for 30 minutes. We instituted the 5-minute half rule. At minute 6, she cut the slide goal in half, headline plus 1 stat only, and restarted a 15-minute timer. She shipped the leaner slide to her red team with B clarity check. Green came back in 5 minutes. She scheduled a 20-minute polish block for the next morning and moved on. Deck finished on time, and the next day's polish improved pacing without risking the deadline. A few common snags to expect and how to reset them fast. You forget to ship after a time box. Fix, add ship to your timer's label so it flashes at you. Red team turns into a committee. Fix, one person only with pre-agreed lanes of feedback. Post-mortems become essays. Fix, limit yourself to 140 characters. If it won't fit, it's not a tweak. Rewards creep before shipping. Fix, ritual only after the trigger, never before. Before we move on, lock this in with one commitment. Write your personal 5-minute half script and your shipping after overage script. Keep them visible. If stuck 5 minutes, half scope and restart. If overtime box, ship state with label and schedule polish. The scripts make decisions automatic when your brain is busy. Remember, failure proofing isn't about never missing, it's about never stalling. Motion beats mood. Systems beat shame. And the moment you install these safeguards, your work stops depending on perfect days and starts moving on normal ones. Tracking progress without feeding perfectionism. Measurement can either liberate you or trap you. The goal here is to track what drives momentum, not what inflates anxiety. So we'll measure shipping, learning, and small quality lifts without turning it into another perfectionist scoreboard. Start with ship count. Ship count beats hours logged because output creates feedback and feedback creates improvement. Log one thing, how many discrete artifacts did you ship this week? Drafts to a reviewer count. Thumbnails to a lead count. A rehearsal recording counts. Hours don't. Hours reward sitting, ship count rewards finishing. Now layer days shipped. You either ship something today or you didn't. It's binary on purpose. Aim for a streak, but cap the maximum at 5 days per week. Why the cap? Perfectionism loves endless streaks that break your spirit when you miss. 5 per week protects recovery and prevents the "I lost my 38-day streak so I quit" crash. If you ship twice in a day, it still counts as 1 day shipped. Keep it honest and light. Log quality bands, not judgments. Each shipped artifact gets a band label B, B+, or A. No adjectives like good or bad. You're documenting state, not worth. This creates a clean map of where you spend your passes. If you see 10 B items with no B+ follow-ups, you know to schedule polish cycles. If you see only A items, you're likely over-polishing and starving the pipeline. Track feedback velocity. Write down when you shipped and when you received first feedback. The shorter that cycle, the healthier your system. If feedback takes a week, shrink audience size, ask a single targeted question, or pre-book reviewers. Your metric is time to signal, not number of comments. Fast signal beats dense signal. Add a weekly cap on perfectionist tweaks. Set a budget, 2 discretionary polish passes for the week total. That's it. Everything else must be justified by a decision gate or a specific request. The cap keeps you from death by micro weeks and forces prioritization. When your polish budget is gone, park improvements for the next cycle. Use a simple visual tracker. 1 small grid with 5 rows for weekdays and 4 columns. Ship. YN, band, feedback time, upgrade chosen. Fill it in 60 seconds at day's end. If you want digital, great. If not, a sticky note works. The tool isn't the point, the reflection is. Now the monthly portfolio review without feeding the monster. Set a 45-minute time box. Pull everything shipped in the month. Ask 3 questions: which pieces created the most value? Which got useful feedback fastest? What's the one thing worth upgrading next month? Only pick one thing to upgrade, not 3. 1. Then schedule a 2-pass upgrade cycle and let the rest stand as finished. This preserves your wins and concentrates excellence where it pays off. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Measure lagging outcomes sparingly and leading behaviors regularly. Revenue, likes, and approvals are lagging. Useful, but slow and noisy. Leading behaviors, days shipped, feedback velocity, pass count, are within your control today. Weight them heavier. If you keep leading indicators healthy, lagging indicators tend to follow. A quick micro story. A team tracked hours religiously and still missed deadlines. We swapped to ship count and feedback velocity with a 2 polish pass cap per week. Within 2 cycles, their average time to signal dropped from 5 days to 36 hours, and deadline hit rate jumped without longer hours. Same talent, different metrics. Common mistakes and fixes: logging intentions instead of artifacts. Fix: only count shipped items with a recipient or destination. Turning tracking into a second job. Fix: 60 seconds per day, 45 minutes per month timer enforced. Overweighing negative feedback. Fix: log it neutrally with the band and choose a single upgrade or a kill decision. Don't spiral, decide. Chasing streaks for their own sake. Fix: celebrate 5 per week caps and treat misses as data, not drama. Now the mindset piece. Tracking is for visibility, not virtue. You're giving your future self a dashboard that says, "Where's the friction?" Not "Am I good?" If you remember nothing else, remember this line: measure movement and learning, not identity. The numbers should help you choose the next best small move, nothing more. To make this stick, set a tiny ritual. End of day, mark ship, band, feedback time, and circle 1 parking lot item to upgrade tomorrow. End of week, count ships and review feedback velocity averages. End of month, pick 1 upgrade for a 2-pass cycle. That's it. No spreadsheets with 19 tabs, no color-coded guilt, just enough data to aim your effort. Once you track like this, perfectionism loses its favorite fuel: vague self-judgment. You'll see progress, you'll spot bottlenecks, and you'll choose upgrades on purpose. Ship stays king, feedback gets faster, and quality rises where it matters. Iteration cycles, turning good enough into great. Now that you're shipping consistently, here's where we level it up without waking perfectionism. Iteration cycles. Think of these as scheduled upgrades with clear constraints. 2-week cycles are the sweet spot, long enough to make a meaningful lift, short enough to keep urgency and focus. Each cycle starts with a single priority artifact and a single constraint. That 1-2 punch is how good enough turns into great predictably. Why 2 weeks? It gives you 4 to 6 focused passes inside real work, not fantasy time. You can run 3 or 4 45-minute blocks per week on the chosen piece, leave space for feedback, and still handle your normal load. Shorter than 2 weeks tends to rush signal, longer invites bloat. If your world is volatile, run 10-day cycles. Same rules, tighter. The single constraint is the game changer. Instead of improve everything, you pick 1 lens for the whole cycle: tone, structure, visuals, pacing, or proof. That constraint acts like blinders. You ignore everything that isn't the constraint. The reason this works is attention conservation. When improvement is narrowly defined, you can go deep without splitting your brain. Let me show you exactly how to set one up. Week: pick the artifact that earned the fastest or most useful feedback last month. Name a clear outcome. Upgrade tone to confident and concise, or tighten structure for faster comprehension. Write a simple hypothesis. If we fix structure, time to clarity drops under 30 seconds for a new reader. Constraints thrive on measurable bets. Cycle plan, day 1, define passes. Pass A, diagnostic, collect 3 examples where the constraint breaks. Pass B, small-scale fix, apply changes to 1 section. Pass C, full sweep, apply across the whole piece. Pass D, signal ship to 1 reviewer with a single question about the constraint. If time remains, Pass E, micro-polish tied to the constraint only. That's it. No while I'm here detours. A quick micro story. A PM spec kept getting unclear ask feedback. For 2 weeks, the single constraint was structure. Pass A surfaced 3 problems: goals buried, acceptance criteria scattered, edge cases mixed with scope. Pass B rewrote 1 section into a standard order, Context, goal, acceptance, scope, edge cases. Pass C applied it to the whole spec. Pass D shipped with a single ask. Can you find the acceptance criteria in under 15 seconds? Response time dropped, approvals sped up. Same content, different structure, huge lift. Now the kill list. Iteration isn't just about upgrading, it's also about abandoning. Once per cycle, scan your active artifacts and ask, is this still worth another pass? If the answer is maybe twice in a row, it's a no. Add it to the kill list and archive guilt-free. Why this matters: capacity is finite. Killing low-leverage projects frees cycles for winners. Pros don't keep everything alive, they protect attention for what compounds. Reuse system next. Every upgrade you make should spawn something reusable. A template, a snippet, a checklist. After a tone upgrade, save winning phrases and band fluff into a snippet file. After a structure upgrade, capture the section order as a template. After a visuals upgrade, store components with spacing and type rules. This is your compounding engine. Reuse means your next good enough starts higher, so each new cycle stacks faster. Showcase before-after. Don't bury your wins. Grab a single slide or a short loom that shows the original next to the upgraded version with one sentence explaining the constraint. This isn't vanity, it's reinforcement. Your brain sees proof that cycles pay, which keeps you running the system when life gets loud. It also teaches your team the language of constraints, so collaboration improves. How many cycles should you run on one piece? Usually 2 to 3. After that, returns flat. If a piece is critical and long-lived, like a landing page, sales deck, or onboarding sequence, schedule seasonal cycles instead of endless micro-tweaks. Mark them on your calendar like maintenance. Spring structure, summer visuals, fall proof. You'll keep quality high without living in that document. Common mistakes. Stacking constraints. Tone plus visuals equals split attention. Pick one. Extending the cycle midstream. If you're behind, cut scope, don't add days. Ignoring signal. If reviewers can't confirm your constraint improved, your change is opinion, not upgrade. Ask a better question. Upgrading the wrong piece. Prioritize artifacts that face users or unlock team speed. Save vanity upgrades for later or never. Let me give you a crisp checklist to start your first cycle. Pick one artifact with real impact. Choose a single constraint. Write a one-line hypothesis and success check. Map pass A, D on your calendar. Capture one reusable asset at the end. Decide another cycle, seasonal maintenance, or kill. Run one cycle and you'll feel it. Fewer debates, cleaner decisions, faster lifts. Good enough gets you out the door. Iteration cycles get you known for work that keeps getting better without burning you out. Mindset shifts that make it stick. Let's lock in the mental models that keep this running when life gets loud. Start with this line: perfect is private, value is public. The world only benefits from what you ship, not what you obsess over. Your best ideas don't count until they're in someone else's hands. When you feel the urge to hide, ask, what version creates value today? Then ship that, label it state, and iterate. Next shift, identity. You're not a perfectionist striving to get it right, you're a shipper who iterates. Shippers measure cycles, not flawless outcomes. Say it out loud before you start. My job is to ship a usable version and improve it. The reason this works is simple: identity drives behavior. When you change who you are in the story, your brain selects different actions under stress. Replace "is this good" with "does this work?" Good triggers taste battles and ego. Works asks about function. Did the message land? Did the user take the next step? Did the reviewer understand? This single language swap kills hours of vague self-judgment. If the answer is mostly, you know your next pass. If the answer is not yet, you know your next experiment. It keeps you in motion. Now, rejection inoculation. Perfectionism fears judgment because it ties mistakes to identity. We're going to vaccinate that fear with controlled exposure. Do 10 reps of deliberate imperfection in safe contexts. Examples: send a B draft labeled clearly to a trusted peer. Post a thumbnail set with an explicit, clarity-only ask. Record a one-take voice memo update instead of rewriting. After each rep, write a one-line lesson. You'll discover that nothing explodes. Signal arrives faster, and recovery is routine. Celebrate usefulness, not flawlessness. The win is the team made a decision 2 days earlier. The client saw direction and approved. The bug surfaced before launch. Track these in a tiny usefulness log. one sentence per win. Seeing utility pile up retrains your brain to crave outcomes over optics. Your nervous system learns that progress reduces threat more reliably than polish. Here's the shortcut nobody talks about. Decouple taste from timing. Keep your discernment, just schedule it. You can hold a high bar and still run B passes early. Tell yourself, my taste is a gift for pass 3. That promise relaxes the inner critic during pass 1. When you arrive at the polished pass, your taste has a real target and better raw material. Another shift, curiosity over self-criticism. When you catch a mistake, swap "I blew it" for interesting, "Why did that happen?" This moves you from shame, which freezes learning, to analysis, which accelerates it. Jot the cause and the system tweak. Maybe your time boxes are too long for drafting. Maybe your acceptable imperfections list is too short, so you keep editing mid-pass. Curiosity yields upgrades, criticism yields stall. Anchor to purpose constantly. Ask, what job is this artifact doing right now? Draft, clarify direction. Limited share, test comprehension. Public, drive action. If you feel that itch to perfect, check the job. If the job is clarity, then clarity first. Cosmetics can wait. When your standards match the job, you stay in lane without arguing with yourself. Expect the voice, the one that says, if this isn't perfect, people will think less of you. You don't need to beat it, you need to root around it. Use state labels, narrow asks, and decision gates. You're not asking the world to score your worth, you're asking the right person to answer a precise question. That's not exposure, that's engineering. Run tiny pride rituals for iteration, not applause. After each shipped pass, check off shipped and say, stacked one. That's it. Small, consistent, body-level rewards beat occasional big hits. Over time, your brain links completion to relief and pride, and the perfectionism threat loop fades. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Great is just good enough, repeated with intention. You'll keep your standards high by scheduling them, not by stalling for them. You're a shipper who iterates, value is public, and does this work? Is your North Star. Now let's turn these shifts into automatic behavior with rapid-fire mistakes to avoid and fixes to use on the spot. Common mistakes and fixes. Let's do rapid-fire troubleshooting so you don't drift back into perfectionist habits. I'll name the mistake, why it trips you, and give you a quick fix you can apply today. Mistake 1, confusing good enough with low effort. When purpose isn't clear, good enough sounds like permission to slack. Fix, anchor to job to be done. Say, for this pass, the job is X, then pick the lowest quality band that still fulfills that job. If the job is clarity, B with ugly allowed is fine. If the job is external comprehension, raise to B+. Tie standards to purpose, not mood. Mistake 2, time boxing without MC1. A timer plus a vague goal equals thrash. Fix, write one MC1 line before you hit start. By the buzzer, I'll produce X that exists. Binary output only. If it's fuzzy, cut scope in half until it's binary. Mistake 3, shipping without a trigger. I'll send it later turns into limbo. Fix, add a visible trigger to your doc header. Ship to Sam by 3 p.m. Ask, is the structure right? Put the send time on your calendar so it pings you. Mistake 4, too many upgrade passes. Endless polish steals time from fresh work. Fix, set a pass limit up front, 2 polish passes max unless a gate requires more. Use the 10% rule each pass, 1 improvement that lifts utility. If you want more, schedule a future iteration cycle, not an immediate detour. Mistake 5, seeking broad feedback. Vague asks yield noise and doubt. Fix, 1 reviewer, 1 question. Does the logic land? Which concept fits credibility best? If you need 2 lenses, accuracy and clarity, split them between 2 specific people, not a committee. Mistake 6, mixing modes mid-pass. Drafting turns into formatting, which turns into rabbit holes. Fix, lane labels. Write draft mode at the top during production, polish mode during refinement. If you notice a fix, park it and say, not this pass. Mistake 7, overscoping MC1 into finish everything. That's perfectionism dressed up. Fix, shrink until it fits 1 line and 1 block. If it still feels heavy, apply the 5-minute half rule immediately. Mistake 8, no acceptable imperfections list. Without it, your brain flags every flaw as a fire. Fix, pre-write 2 4 allowed flaws under MC1. Keep not allowed to 1 or 2 critical errors so you don't stall. Mistake 9, extending time boxes just 5 minutes. This erodes trust in your constraints. Fix, no extend rule with an alternative. Ship current state and schedule a 15-25-minute polish tomorrow. You stay honest and keep momentum. Mistake 10, treating high-stakes work as one stage. You'll hold A standards at the start and freeze. Fix, split into sandbox, limited circulation, and final. Label the band at each stage and use decision gates to advance. Mistake 11, tracking hours instead of ships. Hours reward sitting, ships reward finishing. Fix, end of day mark shipped, YN, band, and time to first feedback. Cap polish passes at 2 per week to prevent tweak spirals. Mistake 12, upgrading everything at once in iteration cycles. Split attention kills depth. Fix, 1 artifact, 1 constraint, 1 hypothesis, 4 to 5 focused passes. Capture 1 reusable asset, decide continue, seasonal, or kill. Mistake 13, letting the parking lot become a second project. Long notes turn into avoidance. Fix, 5 words max per entry, reviewed only in polish mode. Mistake 14, asking yourself, is this good? That triggers ego. Fix, swap to does this work, and define what work means for this pass. If not, choose the next experiment, if mostly, ship and schedule polish. Mistake 15, no recovery script. You slip, then spiral. Fix, write 2 lines and keep them visible. If stuck 5 minutes, half scope and restart. If over time box, ship state with label and schedule polish. Use them verbatim. Run these fixes for a week and you'll feel the drag drop. Remember, good enough isn't low effort, it's right effort right now. Keep the scope tiny, the standard sequenced, the stakes staged, and the ask specific. Then ship, learn, and upgrade on schedule. 7-day practice plan to rewire perfectionism. Day 1, define your quality bands for 3 common tasks. Write them at the top of each doc. Internal B, clarity only, external B+, final A. Add 1 sentence for what job this pass does. Day 2, build MC1 for a current project. 1 line, binary output, plus acceptable imperfections and a shipping trigger. If it doesn't fit 1 sentence, cut it. Day 3, ship something ugly on purpose to a safe person. Label it draft clarity only, ask 1 question, and log time to first feedback. Your training speed to signal. Day 4, create your parking lot and pick a red team buddy. Share your quality bands and shipping triggers with them so green-yellow replies are fast and useful. Day 5, run a 2-pass workflow on a real task. Pass 1, 45 minutes, produce MC1, no extend. Pass 2, 25 minutes, 110% upgrade. Ship after each pass with state labels. Day 6, log ship count and feedback velocity for the week. Cap discretionary polish at 2 passes total. Pick 1 artifact for a small upgrade next week. Day 7, review your week in 45 minutes. Ask, what created the most value? Where did I stall? Capture 1 reusable template or snippet, write a 1-line tweak to your system, and set next week's MC1 for your highest impact piece. 2 tiny rules all week. If stuck 5 minutes, have scope and restart. If over time box, ship state with label and schedule polish. Keep lane cues visible, draft mode or polish mode. That's your safety net. Key takeaway. Good enough gets you finished today, and planned iteration turns finished into great without the anxiety tax. Your move, run the 7-day plan and comment what you shipped by day 3. Subscribe if you want the advanced iteration system, and watch the deep work timeboxing video next to lock in focus.